going on?
Hey,
Hey, what's up with you, fam?
Yo, I'm in a good mood, my guy.
Oh man, I'm hungry as fuck.
Yo, Jay, Adam coming?
Yeah, who's bragging ass in here?
Okay.
But with the main difference with Sony is I don't think they're gonna put like their huge first party titles.
No.
Give them time. They will.
No, come on, they don't do that to us.
I'm just saying.
Fatal. All I can do is agree that if they're doing collaborations with third party or second party, things like this could happen. We're looking at Yakuza. We're looking at Yakuza, which is not their game, right? It might have had the only on PlayStation game, but it doesn't mean Sony first party studio makes it. Same thing with Persona 5, which it looks like each and every one of those games will appear on the Switch. I think I'm a dead believer of that, and I'm gonna start putting out that video so I can beat all my haters to the chase. By them testing out this Dynasty Warriors style Persona 5 spinoff, putting it on the Switch. Yeah, Scramble. By them putting it on the PS4. Bro, that's a day one. That is a day one. I saw that gameplay. It's like an open world Persona in a way, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed that it's not your standard spinoff from that type of developer. It is different, and it's gonna deserve the reviews that it gets. But it's definitely a day one. But long story short, I see that Persona's gonna make its way to PC. Kingdom Hearts is gonna Persona's gonna make its way to Nintendo systems. Kingdom Hearts is gonna make their way to Nintendo systems and PC. I'm not sure much about Xbox, because it was never a series that Xbox fans liked. And it was weird to put the third installment over there. It was obviously not going to pick up a lot over on Xbox. You needed to understand that complex story. But I do believe all the early Kingdom Hearts, they've all made their money on PlayStation systems. Like for 3 generations now. Yeah, so I think all Kingdom Hearts will go multi-plat to every platform. I mean, there's no point in keeping them exclusive. They made all their money. Persona 5... all the other Personas, same exact thing. They made all their money on all the generations of PlayStation, from PlayStation 1 to PS4. It only makes sense that you will put all the Personas on everybody's platform. But like Yella and Snow Bunny said, if you're dealing with a Sony first-party studio, we have not saw a Sony first-party studio ever put their games on PC. And I don't think we're going to see it. With Sony doing the trademarks, which is another topic we need to dive in, trademarks for PS, 6 all the way to 10, they know the only way to even be able to make it that far is to have exclusives. Now, I want Microsoft to dial it back and do the same thing Sony's doing, what I just said. If you're not doing a collaboration with a third-party or second-party developer or studio that you do not own, I can understand you putting it on PC. But if we're talking about Halo, we're talking about Gears and Forza, you should never be able to play those games on PC. That's a selling point for your hardware.
I disagree with that statement.
Okay, explain.
Well, I mean, think of it like this, man. Why wouldn't they? Microsoft has a big penetration in the actual freaking PC space.
I cannot agree with you.
Let's not pretend here, JayTech, for a moment, dude, man. This is the first time Microsoft's done this.
It's not, because they did it since Quantum Break and Rise was the first games they put on Steam.
Oh, no. I'm talking about back before that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Gears 1, Viva Pinata, Fable 3, Shadowrun.
Okay. I want to agree with you so much, and if the penetration was as deep as you're saying, no homo, that I believe, I believe that we would be getting sales. They're backing away from giving any information, even engagement. Let's be honest. The popularity of Gears.
Where's the numbers for Days Gone? They were touting that to high heavens.
Yeah, they were touting that it was doing good, but we don't know what the numbers are. No, we don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's like that's one example out of all the last major exclusives released for Xbox, and we can't ignore that we're not getting any numbers from Gears. We got 3 million We got 3 million players.
Somebody saying your mic sounds crazy. I just let you know. Go ahead.
Mic sounds crazy. Oh, hold on.
I gotta sorry.
What's up, man? Who's that, Jay?
Me, yeah. I don't think we're ever gonna deal with a problem like that. Probably like Concrete Genie's probably not gonna be sharing the sales. Days Gone obviously sold over 1 million. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's probably sold over 1 million. It might be under 3 million, or it might be under 4 million, but it definitely sold over 1 million. The same thing with the launch of Order 1886 and NAC 1 and Drive Club. They all got announced that they sold over 1 million, and they were bad in the terms of Xbox. Those were bad launches, and they quickly sold over 1 million. And they disclose those numbers. So even the bad, like, I know what you're trying to say, even bad games, you know, you might not disclose those numbers. Those were 3 bad games in the early days of PlayStation, and they disclosed over 1 million. For them not being able to do that for Gears, obviously, again, it makes sense. There's no bashing here. You can't really track, hey, somebody subscribed to Game Pass and they played Gears. It's like, I mean, well, you get Game Pass for $1. You don't really know how to split that $1 towards games that are like over a library of 100 games. How do you split $1, right? 100 cents more than 100 ways. So you're not able, even if you wanted to, you're not able to track how many people paid for Gears. Because if you're doing a subscription service, you're not paying for Gears. Okay, yeah, that's all I'm saying. If you're playing Gears, right, and you're playing it from Game Pass, right, you didn't actually buy the game. You're playing it, but you didn't buy it. You're a subscriber of Game Pass and you're playing it, but you didn't buy it. So how can they give you numbers, right, if you didn't actually buy the game, digital or physical? You're playing it, nobody's going to take that away from you, and you can play it to completion, right? But you can't track that individual sales because the subscription service as a whole is more than $100. And again, even if you're looking past $1 for 100 games or $15 a month or whatever for however many games are on Game Pass, you still can't figure out how to say this person paid for just this one game, because you're not. You're paying for the subscription. The subscription is not made up of one game. So again, in Microsoft's defense, and I'm defending Microsoft with you, there's no possible way they could ever give us the Gears sales numbers. Persona, we could get numbers from that. Bloodborne, we can get numbers from that. NAC, we can get numbers from that. If they choose to withhold it, yes. But they're not doing it on the level that Microsoft has been doing over the last 2 years. That's why people get on Microsoft. And it's not only just their software. We're talking about their hardware numbers that have to come out through different sources, what their sales number is, which is pretty bad because the Switch is caught up to the Xbox One within 2 years. It's not that the Switch is that good. It's not that the Switch is not that good. It's just that if you did have exclusives, you could sell more hardware. No one can tell me any different. With exclusives, you can sell more hardware. It's always been the case. I am a gaming historian in favor of all gaming consoles, and I'm talking about consoles. Okay, I've saw the hysteria from Halo. I've saw the hysteria from Gears last generation. People just piling the streets of New York City, waiting in line for those amazing. Exactly. We're not getting that anymore because you don't have to leave the house. I understand that. I don't have to leave the house many times either. Shit, my comforter. My fucking mattress, all that shit came from Amazon. My watch, my phone, TV. Except for the PS4. I went to GameStop to pick that up. Both of them. But, long story short, it's like, as time goes on, you don't really have to leave the house. And now, with gaming, you can actually yell at most of my library is digital. That's why when people try to get on me for canceling my physical... They try to get on me for canceling my physical edition of Death Stranding. It was no physical. It was a fucking console. I was going to get the console bundle and sell my old PS4 for $300. But like I said, I saw a decrease in value of a PS4 Pro. Also, that later on that day, I was happy with my choice because I saw a leaked news bulletin for what we're gonna get for Black Friday, which is a $200 PS4 Slim, God of War from 2018, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, and The Last of Us Remastered, which completely cuts my PS4 Pro to probably like $250, if that. So I wasn't able to gonna be able to sell this off and get the money back. So I said I might as well keep this PS4 Pro until the end of the complete end of this generation, until I get a PS5, and just deal with it. Or maybe The Last of Us, I have like a fucking nice PS4 Pro that I can just say, hey, let me get that. But long story short, I've gone digital. I've gone digital for a long. Shut up. I've gone digital for a long time. When Death Stranding came out, that was a digital pre-order as soon as it went up. There was no ifs, ands, or buts because it's convenient to me. Seeing that I could play that at 12 midnight, that's awesome. Now, some people can go to GameStop at 9 o'clock and go pick up their game brand new, and that's awesome too. That's much more awesome than mine. But no tax. I don't get charged tax on the PlayStation network. It's a $60 even. No tax. Not for me. Not in Maryland. It might change.
I would like to say what's up to Run the Thor. Because I don't know when Jay gonna stop. Because Jay ain't gonna stop.
Shut the fuck up. You got all these bets you gotta pay. You might want to keep quiet, man.
But I just want to say one thing on what you were saying, Jay, about like with the Xbox. The whole thing that I'm more curious about is what the physical sales for Gears 5 is. Because, like I said, they're only giving us engagement numbers, but I'm curious as to how many people engaged it versus how many people did go out and buy it because they don't have Game Pass.
We will never know.
I'm super curious about that, but I doubt we'll ever.
Yeah, we'll never know.
But we'll never get those numbers, most likely.
Oh, no, we ain't gonna get those numbers, sweet.
No, sadly, yeah. I mean, and this is not a bash against Xbox. Like, PlayStation fans are not actively saying, hey, your games ain't selling. No, I mean, the way Microsoft set it up, your games actually won't sell. It's nothing Sony did. Sony fanboys, PlayStation fanboys, we didn't do this. We didn't make this decision. This was a decision made by Microsoft.
The question is, you ever wonder why they're hiding these numbers? Why there's a reason why they don't want to share these numbers outside from their investors?
Because
Randall, I think, Randall, Thor, why do you think, because I know it's a lot of things out there of why, and I'm pretty much, we know why, but Randall, why do you think the numbers haven't came out officially yet?
I mean, originally it was because the numbers are bad, and it's no different than when Sony hit their numbers during the PS3 era, when everything was the PlayStation family.
Yeah.
Xbox's numbers look bad in comparison to PlayStation numbers, and that's just the honest truth. Now, as far as like giving sales numbers for Gears, I would love to see it, but in my conversations with people at Xbox, they would rather have you subscribe to Game Pass than buy the game. So the physical sales or the digital sales of Gears necessarily don't matter to them because they're using Gears as I guess you would say, a loss leader to acquire users for Game Pass, essentially. Because Game Pass is at that situation where they're giving it away for really cheap, and the whole point of a subscription service is to get as many people into the service as possible, and then eventually you have this huge user base of millions upon millions of people paying you a monthly fee. However, kind of hard to get off the ground. So you need the content, which costs millions upon millions of dollars. You need to get the users. You need to get them stuck in that mindset. Give them games just like Netflix and the upcoming Disney Plus. So Microsoft is using their own first-party games as the kind of carrot on the stick. Here's Gears 5. Here's Outer Worlds, which is from their new studio. Here's Ori 2, here's Halo Infinite, etc., etc. They go out and they get bigger third-party games, maybe 3 or 4 months later. And yeah, they're basically operating Game Pass in the red right now. It's not profitable. It's not expected to be profitable for quite some time. Just like with Disney Plus. I don't know if you guys heard. They don't expect to make any money on that for 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Go in. I think he went in and out. Randall Thor.
I'm here.
Oh,
It
okay.
was somebody else was talking and they went poofy.
Yeah, Jay. I don't know what that is, but even people in the chat is saying that some of the people are going in and out. JayTech.
Yeah. What's up? Damn, I thought y'all was still talking. Damn. What's up? I told you I didn't eat any breakfast, man. So I'm trying to sneak snacks and shit. What's going on?
Hey, Randall Thor, I agree with you completely, but the only thing that I see about that, man, like to me, it looks like this is the first time I've seen somebody like Microsoft has been in the game for what, like 20, 25 years now. They're on their fourth console.
They've been in the game long enough.
Yeah, they've been in there long enough, and it's now it looks like they're reinvesting in their own product, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the thing is, I think the fans, like the Xbox fans, are out there like, what's going on? I don't understand this because as recently, if you've seen like this last year and a half, they've been gobbling up studios. And as a fan, you would think that they would have gobbled up those studios 10, 15 years ago. A long time ago. And that's where I think that all the fans, gaming fans, period, are really confused with what I've been confused all this generation of what they're trying to accomplish right now.
You can barely hear the sound.
I can hear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something is wrong, Jay. Like everybody is saying, like that people are low. They can barely hear people.
Okay.
Jack up the total volume.
So.
Okay. How do I do the total volume for the podcast?
You're on OBS, right? Just jack up the whole volume.
Okay, cause I'm hearing that shit like. Oh, okay. Oh no, that shit was low. Sorry, that shit was fucking low. Sorry. Can y'all hear now? I apologize. That shit was fucking low. I don't know how that shit got low. I never fuck with that volume. Okay, I apologize. That shit was fucking low. Sorry. Can you guys hear better? Is it better now?
Yeah, guys, just let us know if y'all can hear us better now.
Some of you sound like you're
He said, sounds like everybody's in a hole.
Okay, somebody said it's better. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
Go ahead.
I don't even know why OBS had that shit that low. I don't really fuck with OBS for the dashboard sound. So I apologize. Yeah, it's better now. Okay.
Back to what you were saying, Big Money?
Yeah, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I was just saying to Randall Thor, yeah, like man, they're really confused on well the fans are confused on what they're trying to do. Like we both know, like at the beginning of this generation, we know that everything went real sour for them. We understand that. But now I think fans are just confused. They're confused on what they're trying to do. I never from the beginning thought that this Game Pass thing was going to work because it didn't seem like it was the right time to implement this into the community right now. And I know that's hard to say for me because I'm a fan of all guys. I predominantly play on PlayStation, but I'm really confused. This is like I'm on my second or third Xbox because the only time I pick up my Xbox is when I'm playing an exclusive game, and it's only been 2 exclusive games that I really wanted to play, and the last past one was Gears. Gears was great, by the way. I know a lot of people might not like Gears, but this last Gears was, I even said on this show that I think Gears is up, and I know people gonna hate me for saying this. I think Gears should be one of the games for Game of the Year. That's how good Gears was to me. And I know, Yellow, you about to say something. Shut your ass up. I know you about to say that.
I agree. I agree.
You about to say something, Yellow, goddamn. I think it's one of the best games this generation.
Let me chime in real quick, Big Money. I can co-sign with what you're saying, G, but I'm going to tell you flat out, bro. And this is coming from somebody who spent $1,000 on Gears 3. That Gears 5 multiplayer, that shit is straight cancer, G.
Oh, God.
That is trash.
Oh.
Yeah.
That
No,
multi-
you know
it's
what?
fine.
The fuck out of here, man. That shit is booby. The fucking hitbox.
That new Fatal.
As fuck, G. That shit is casual as fuck. I can't do it, man. But that campaign.
The
Gears is
Fatal,
casual as fuck, man. It's just dominated by goddamn freaking shotguns. With the Nasher?
That new mode that they put in there, Fatal.
Hold on a second, big buddy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
For the whole Nasher narrative, that was the identity of Gears. Yes, you had lancers and other weapons like that. This, that, and the third.
Oh, believe me, I know. I got bitched up people back when I played Gears 1 for you down with the Lancer.
Exactly. But check this out, though. My thing is, this not even with Gears, bro. Even with the new Call of Duty, bro. Any motherfucking major game, it is getting overran by fucking professional players. Like the true hardcore gamer. But what I'm saying is that their opinions matter more than the fucking consumers. Long story short.
True.
Which is bullshit because that's ruining gaming as a general. I'm not a fan of Call of Duty. I would say I am, but I appreciate what they did with reinventing themselves with this new one. Okay? Fucking beautiful, the structure, everything. Like that campaign was solid as fuck. That multiplayer, it's a camp fest. Even hardcore duty people that I know that play that game say that shit's trash. So I'm just saying, as gaming as a whole, man, it's just they're listening to the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Like games that have a longevity of play get shortened because of fucking professional players.
I see where you're coming from now.
Hey, let me ask you something. Go ahead. Sweetie, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask. First off, Rand, can I call you either Rand or Thor because I will never remember your full name.
Call a man with the million.
Okay.
You can just say Rand. It's fine. It's the name is just a character from Wheel of Time. It's
that's fine. I thought it was. I remember that book series. I was like, I thought that was familiar. But my thing is, this is gonna sound really weird, and this is something going off of what Biggie said because he said something that clicked to me. Remember when they were announcing the Xbox One, and they were saying there was going to be, you couldn't share games, you couldn't do the DRM and all that, and everybody had the backlash. And with what Biggie just said, he can't understand why they're introducing and pushing Game Pass so much. It's almost as if they were on a road plan from when they announced it to now that they were planning on pushing their entire user base to a PC world. And because when they announced the no DRM, you couldn't trade games, you couldn't share games and things, the first thing that popped in my brain was, whoa, that's like PC gaming right there. But then they had the huge backlash from the whole community about that, and they changed their minds about it. But now we're moving into, now they're pushing Game Pass hardcore. Do you guys think that if they had succeeded with the with the DRM and the no sharing of games and things, do you think that this was on the roadblock to pushing straight into Game Pass?
I think a lot of things changed in the roadmap of Xbox when it failed at launch and leadership changed. Don Matrick got fired, and then especially everything changed when Microsoft got a new CEO. You do, like, when you look at Steve Ballmer, who was the head of Microsoft when, the 360 and the beginning of the Xbox One was around, his philosophy was you need to bring people to you. You need to create the devices and bring people to you. Pretty much the same philosophy that Sony has, PlayStation, where if you want to play God of War, the only place you're playing God of War is on the PlayStation 4, right? However, Satya Nadella has a different viewpoint. His viewpoint is you go where the customers are. His thing is all about putting your services or your products wherever the people are. So they put Microsoft Office everywhere. They put all their products on as many devices as possible, and he's made Microsoft more profitable than ever. And it's no surprise that Xbox has followed the suit of what the CEO's vision of the company is. So what's Xbox's strategy now? Xbox's strategy is, hey, we have a console for people that want to play there. Hey, you want to play on PC? You can play on PC. Hey, you want to stream games to your mobile phone or whatever? Hey, we might even put games on Switch. Essentially, we're going to put our stuff wherever the customer is. So to me, it's not that much of a surprise because the CEO sets the vision of the entire company, and Xbox is now falling in line. Now, is it a winning strategy? That's something you can talk about. Like, I don't know. I have my doubts about streaming as a viable, like, business strategy. Like, it would take over. Like, I still don't think that's. I just not sold on that. But I do think Game Pass I think Game Pass is set up in a way where if it works, and if you have tons of great content and people want to play it, and you're selling it on your console, and you're selling it on PC, and you're selling it to mobile users, the windfall from the potential money that you would receive 6 years, 7 years from now is so great that it's going to eclipse any amount of money that you would lost previously. That's what they're trying to do. It's all set up it's all basically a long-term plan. It's all long-term stuff here. Yeah, this generation didn't go well for them. They've kind of given up on it. But everything they've been doing, from buying all these new studios, from setting up Game Pass and all that stuff, it's all with an eye for, the future. xCloud and console streaming and all that stuff.
Do you think the fans?
That's what they're looking for.
I'm sorry. Do you, as a fan, do you think this is the right road to go down? Do you think this is the right road?
Me, I would say, as used to being a fan, not to cut you off, Randall. No.
As a fan, if it gets me the games that I want and need, then I'm all for it. Like, if them doing this gives them the money to buy the studios and create new games, then it's the right strategy. If it doesn't,
let me ask you this,
then...
Not to cut you off, let me ask you this. Upon you feeling though that's the right way, I feel as though, let me ask you this as well. Do you think that they should have invested their money into these studios before they even made the Xbox One X and invested?
100%.
Yeah, and also, do you think they should have invested that money into the same amount of money that they invested into the streamers? They should have invested into their brand, to their own identity.
I mean, I would prefer Microsoft to spend the money they spent on getting Shrouded Ninja on Xbox. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but I mean. Each division has their own budget. Mixer has their budget. Mixer
Microsoft
decided to spend their budget on Mixer on Shroud and Ninja. I would prefer that money go to Xbox.
You and me both. I used to be a big Xbox supporter, man. I just don't like where they're going.
Yeah, I mean,
at the end of the day, I mean, my thing is this: no matter where you're gaming, you're a gamer. As long as you're having fun, enjoy yourself. But me personally, as a consumer, like we said before, brother, there's no identity to that box anymore. You can play it on PC. You can play it pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, even on Nintendo Switch with those 2 games. I think it's only 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's far.
Yeah. I mean, but the second one is big. Super Lucky Star, it started on PC with a VR game, but we're talking about Ori and the Blind Forest award-winning. I don't see how that helps Xbox, the gaming place, because if people, and Cuphead was another one. Though Cuphead got so much more sales on Switch than on the Xbox version.
But Cuphead's not Microsoft's game, though.
I know, but I'm saying locking it down. Like, I can understand
sure,
it going.
If you think Microsoft should have paid the money,
PC, but like, when you thought about Cuphead, you really did think about Xbox. When I thought about Ori and the Blind Forest, as many times as I've heard that said to me by the Xbox community as that being a very good game. And I'm not going to take that away, and I know it was. I know it. I saw the awards. I saw the Metacritic. I saw the sales numbers, and I acknowledge that, right? But to see it just casually go to the Switch, it was like, what? It's like everything we've known as gamers, right? Exclusivity and how they work. It is much, much more different for all people, not just for Xbox, but for everybody this generation. There are games that you never thought you would see on another platform, like all the Final Fantasies. Every last one of them, Square said, and I agree with it. Hey, this shit's been exclusive for PlayStation for like 4 gens. Everybody have it. Let's see what we could get from you, and then let's plan ahead to see where our user base is, see where our fan base is now after everybody has access to all the Final Fantasies, and see what we could do for the future, And
AJ, you know what?
Huh?
But that happened with PS3. At the beginning of the PS3, PlayStation was like, we're not playing for third-party exclusives. That's how we got Final Fantasy 13 on the Xbox 360.
Exactly.
Hey, you know what I think what happened with Cuphead, Jay?
Uh-oh.
I think Randall was right with that. But no, the thing was, I think they were looking for games so bad. I think Xbox fans wanted Microsoft to fight to get that game. At least fight to get it. We know they don't own it, and it's not their game. But I think what they wanted to see Microsoft come up there. Hey guys, we tried to get the game. We tried to get it. I think that's another place where fans are confused. Like I was talking to Diller in Cole Eastwood the other day, and they had correct me on something. You know, I kind of already knew this, but they corrected me on it because I was talking about Outer Worlds. Like, I didn't understand them getting that studio and then letting that game go. And they was like telling me, like, hey man, that game was already gone. Even Fatal had told me, like, hey man, they didn't. Somebody else published that game and everything. It's just that I wish I would have heard somewhere. And I know this probably is just way off, but I wish I would have heard somewhere where I heard it was a rumor where Microsoft tried to get it. Microsoft tried to get this game. Because right now, I think there's a lot of people out there that like Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is not me. For me, I played the game a little bit. It's an okay game, but it's not the type of game for me. But
you should play it.
Outer Worlds is... Yeah, I played a little. I played about 2-3 hours of it.
That's
and I kind of didn't... Oh, I see now. I see now. Yeah, no, you good. But still, I wish they would have fought for those type of games. Even though I know, like, let's say if they do a sequel to Outer Worlds, man, they're gonna own that. I did not understand at that time. At that time, they was right in the middle of getting that studio, and then they get the studio and the game come out and it's on everybody's platform. And I know everybody, because I was one of the main ones. I'm like, damn, how did Microsoft let that happen? Until Diller schooled me, like, boy, you don't know what you're talking about. Somebody else had that game. But I was like, damn, well, why they didn't wait to acquire that? Because it make it seem like they didn't even fight to get that game badly as they need games. They need games bad, like really, really bad. I'm confused, man. I'm so confused on what Xbox is doing, man. I really am.
But Biggie, to correct you on one thing, the developers for Cuphead, Microsoft went to the developers of Cuphead and asked them to rework it to put it on the Switch. And then when it got announced, Phil Spencer, even there's a quote of him somewhere saying, there's an article where he said, yeah, we're the Switch's biggest third-party publisher.
I saw that, and we talked about that on this very podcast, and it was very confusing.
So it wasn't like Microsoft didn't fight to get it. Microsoft gave that one up.
Yeah. I mean, and look, it's the same thing what before Sean Layton left or got fired, whatever. It's same wording with that article where he talked about games being published on PC. And it's like a lot of us were confused, but now, I mean, a lot of things are coming full circle. Even myself, I have to agree. Like, we're gonna have to agree to understand that if you see a developer that's not owned by a company or a studio, we can't hold our breath that the game's gonna forever be exclusive. Again, if your first party studio is making that game, it should stay exclusive. We're gonna go and share the screen in a little bit because Nintendo have their sales number up on their gaming website, and we're gonna talk about those sales numbers and what that means. But exclusivity has always been the way to sell that game and sell a system. And when you take that away, you do harm the sales of your console. I don't care who you are. Ain't nobody gonna be able to fight that. The Xbox One would sell a lot better.
Wouldn't the failure of the Xbox One kind of disprove that? Because like it had exclusives and nobody bought it.
I think they should have held the line.
Think they should have held the line?
I think they should have just kept putting out exclusives, and hopefully people will wake up and say, hey, well, we do got games. Let's keep buying these games. These games are good. Let's keep buying them. But if the fans didn't believe that they were good, again, you're right. If the fan base, the Xbox fan base, not PlayStation, not Nintendo, not PC, if the Xbox fan base, the ones that already own the Xbox, didn't see a reason in buying those games because they were not good enough for them, then this was always going to be the outcome, and there's nothing anybody could do. But that only falls on the Xbox community.
But I don't think crossplay, or not crossplay, I don't think Play Anywhere really was the determining factor of someone buying an Xbox or not.
No,
I don't think that factored into it.
No. See, that was the early days. What happened after that? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this year. The Xbox could have sold more. I mean, this is the last.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like,
you don't think that the Xbox could have sold more?
No, because that's
totally
based on
it's a third place console. It's a console. It's the third place console. It's the least wanted. I don't think it was going to sell any more than it has.
Well, to be honest with you, to be humble, I think they could have sold more. Like I stated before, if they would have invested their money into themselves a lot fucking sooner.
Yeah, I can't just sit up here.
Yeah, like if last year they would have started building these studios going to this gen, that would have worked.
No, but I'm saying this is the last year, and it's public knowledge. Everybody was getting ready for next gen next year. Okay, we're not gonna put that as an excuse for anybody, right? Nintendo's been selling good with the Switch this year. PlayStation's been selling good with the PS4, even with Days Gone not being up to par to anybody's expectations. The system has been selling good enough to achieve that 100 million console sold milestone. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that if Gears was known to only be on the on the Xbox One since last year, I think when they announced it, right, that it would have sold more consoles. It definitely would have. We don't care if it was 100 or 100,000, maybe even 1 million, because it did have the limited edition console bundle. I mean, you just never know until you try. At this point in time, both of you guys are telling me Microsoft gave up on you guys after you gave up on them by not buying the games. And that's where the problem is. It's, again, ignore the fanboys on the other side of the fence. This is a you problem. The whole gaming community that's pertaining to the Xbox did not buy games. This is your fault. And it's not the major games. We're talking about a game that you contracted with a game studio that was always known to make PlayStation exclusive. We're talking about Insomniac Games. You got a brand new IP, something fresh. And no one supported it. This was before Game Pass. This was before games everywhere.
Talk that shit.
Like, you let the game fail. You gotta be passionate about that shit to a degree. It was a game. A fun game.
I mean, I bought Sunset Overdrive. I didn't let shit fail.
So did I.
I bought it too, Jay. I bought it too.
Okay, but
I'm not talking about specifically you guys. I'm talking about the community as a whole. We're talking about the community as a whole. Probably by the time when that game came out, I gotta say the Xbox probably was at 20 million or 30 million consoles sold, maybe, give or take, right?
In 2014?
No, yeah, Jay, no, you're kind of off on that one.
Oh, you think it was a little less? Okay, well, what?
No.
10, 15 million?
It came out in 2014. It came out in 2014.
Oh, shit.
You're a little mistaken on that. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Probably like
but the game never hit a million.
Get him, Randall.
No, but I'm just saying.
Get him, Randall.
I'm a little bit off on my years for that one. But
yeah, just a little bit.
I'm still
just a little bit.
hold on, Big Money. I'm still surprised the game never got. We sold 1 million, and this is proving my point because I named what was it? Drive Club. I named Knack.
Right, didn't the first Titanfall do really well?
Huh?
Sales wise?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah. Then when Part 2 came out, we don't know what happened because it was.
But what is it with the other IPs that nobody gives a fuck about, or these other titles?
I don't know. I think
you could also look at last gen for that exact same problem too as well.
What?
But there are like games outside their main first-person shooter genres. They sold a lot better than this gen for whatever reason. Just market share.
They definitely sold better, but that's not really saying much though.
I mean, the 360 had more people than the Xbox One, so
that's also
like my main reason for not getting it. I was 360 last gen. I was all 360 last gen. I didn't switch over was because a lot of the games and types that they had during the 360 era, they have either canceled or not bought back for this gen.
Alan Wake. I hear you.
Yeah. No, but my point is all those games and all those people who got those fans, like I was a huge fan of Infinite Undiscovery, of Lost Odyssey. Those games, they own the IP to Lost Odyssey. Where's those types of games at this gen? The games that made people buy 360s.
Talk that shit.
They didn't bring any of those to this gen. And then my whole personal thing is the Xbox One already was not doing that great. Look at what Nintendo did with the Wii U. When it wasn't doing that great, they didn't come out with a new iteration of it. They killed that shit dead in the water. They put all their money towards a few first-party games coming out every year up until they were ready for the Switch. And then they just killed that shit dead in the water and launched the Switch and started all over again. They didn't do a reiteration like the Xbox One. The Xbox One already wasn't doing that great, but then they're going to turn around and release an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Hey, Snowbuddy, you know what the crazy thing about that is? In the beginning of the generation, they had games. I'm not going to sit here and lie because, like, the first couple of games that they came out with, I love the first couple of games they came out with. I've never seen, this is the first time I've seen in a generation where one mistake killed the whole generation. And that roadmap that they came out with, it killed the whole generation. I think Microsoft was really thinking that this was going to blow over, and it never did. The fans never forgave them for that. And I think that's kind of harsh, to tell you the truth. I think they need to forgive and forget. Cause like we get on like, cause we're PlayStation, we're mostly PlayStation. Well, Ice Cream, Snowbuddy, I know you're
this gen
Nintendo,
of Switch. No, this gen.
Yeah.
Next gen, it might be something different if Nintendo pisses me off. That's the reason I always switch every gen.
I gotta agree. Like I go all the way back to the N64. I started out as a Nintendo gamer with the Super NES, N64, GameCube, DS was my last system from Nintendo. I had like 3 different handhelds from Nintendo: Game Boy Color, Game Boy SP, and DS again. So basically 3 generations of consoles, 3 generations of handhelds with Nintendo. I remember that Metroid probably wasn't like the best thing. Like maybe it was a little bit different. I remember that whole game skipping the 64 era. Like there was not a single Metroid. It's a such thing as taking a break. You know, they do it with PlayStation all the time. Like sometimes.
What's up to everybody in the chat, bro? We see y'all talking. What's up?
We see everything. I see about the PSN cards. I hope you're not here just for that. We're giving 2 of them out away from the PlayStation Legion, but I hope you're not just here for that. That's a little selfish. But
that's what I'm here for.
Let me continue. Let me continue.
What's going on?
We're giving out some cards. I was gonna do the
giving the $60 card out, and I'm giving the $60 card out.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, that's why we all here, bro.
Oh, fuck you guys.
That's why everybody here, huh?
I'll be on y'all PSNs because it's gonna be first come, first serve. It is first come, first serve. So hopefully you're fast enough.
Look, I'm trying to quadruple dip for this man. Fuck all that noise, man.
But I think that. Huh?
Good day.
Oh, I think that Big Money is right. Like I think that you could step away from a couple of these IPs and focus in, the first party. Like buy up some studios a little bit earlier. And this generation was 5-6 years long. If you got the studios in the first year of the console being out, you could have had games ready to show off. I don't know, 2016 maybe, like Sony did.
I mean, I agree. Look, I agree with the idea. Look, I've been Microsoft's biggest critic when it comes to waiting that long to invest. Right? They should have did it during the 360 era when they were rolling in money. That would have been the perfect time to do it. And they should have, if not then, they should have did the beginning of this one. But what happened was the Xbox One was a disaster, and Microsoft wasn't going to invest in gaming. Who knows if they were even going to stay in gaming? Because Satya Nadella, when he took over in 2014, he had no idea why they were even in gaming. He called up Phil Spencer. He's like, "What are we doing here? Tell me why we should be in gaming." And Phil had to sell him on it. And eventually, he did a good enough job, changed Xbox to the point of Satya's vision, became executive. I think he's like vice president. He's like on the executive board. Got not a blank check, but a check enough where he can go build the initiative, where he can go buy a whole bunch of new studios and invest in a way that we wanted them to invest 6-7 years ago. It's just that's just the way it happened. I don't know if there's any point in saying they should have did it earlier. I agree they should have, but it's like the past is in the past. It's like, so now you have the studios. Now you are looking at next gen. It's like, just make great games.
So I just want to put out, Microsoft's not going to go back to the status quo of having exclusive. Everything is going to be on PC.
No. I mean, the games will either be like Outer Worlds 2, which Microsoft paid to put on Game Pass, like big money you mentioned earlier. They don't own that game. Hold on a second.
Damn, I just seen somebody buy a PS4.
Okay.
Yo, I saw somebody the other day buy an Xbox just for Game Pass alone. That scares me.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to know. Like, with the Scarlet coming out, like, games on PC and Game Pass is just, that's not going away, right? Like, I'm just trying to
Game Pass is not going anywhere.
Okay, so how outside of just the power, because if you anybody wants to brag about power on the Xbox side, you should just get a PC anyway. All your games are over there. So let's take off the power. Don't talk about how powerful Scarlet is.
Their games are optimized better for the console, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. We're talking about this incident that just happened on Monday where people say, well, I don't need to get a PS4 now because Death Stranding's over there. So I don't want to hear about the power of the Scarlet when all your games are over there. Whether it's optimized better on consoles or not, it doesn't matter. It's over there. It's a multi-plat. It's on a platform where it seems like a lot of people are gearing towards. I've never saw an exodus, it seems, towards the PC community that I've saw this generation. I've never saw it. Never saw it. I've never even needed to talk to a PC gamer on the internet compared to how many fans I've encountered this whole fucking generation over the last 4 years. So it's fucking crazy. But how do you sell a Scarlet? Like, how do you sell that? What is the selling point? Like, I let's just market it.
Halo's the selling point.
No,
Halo's the selling point.
J Love. I need to hear from them. I know you want to joke around and stuff, but I want to get a honest.
He said hold on. I think Randall Thor said hold on for a second.
Okay, well I get the answer from Fatal. How would you advertise, or how would you market a Xbox Scarlet? Like, why do I need to buy that? Or could I just stay with Xbox One X? That'd probably be too.
Did he just say fuck what I know?
Okay, because I'm like, at this point in time, like, we've all known the way to anybody's heart to sell a console. Hey, we got this game, nobody else does. Buy it. Simple as that.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And here's the thing too: is it's not like I've been hearing a lot of the same things repeatedly over and over again. Like, not the Game Pass, like, fuck that noise. But what I'm saying is like, a lot of these developers acquisitions that Microsoft recently picked up, a lot of these people don't even know who the hell these companies are, or not really familiar with their library of games. You know what I mean? Like, how many people here, truthfully, have ever played a game from Exile? Anyone here?
It's the guys doing Wasteland, right?
Nobody.
Yeah, but they've also done Bard's Tale as well.
Yeah, and I've heard of them, but not.
I've heard of Bard's Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, like, I mean, I'm like a big fan of that company. I always have been. Like, I've been, like, their games are just remarkably good as far as, like, that genre that they're known for doing. And whatever the case may be, so I know who they are. But to the vast majority of gamers out there, they don't give a fuck about Wasteland. They're gonna take one look at that game and call it a PS1 game, or call it a PS2 game tops. You know what I mean? And
so let me ask you something, Fatal.
Go ahead.
So Fatal, let me ask you this then. Why continue
go easy on me, boy, please?
Yeah, go easy on him, bro.
Fatal. Why continue to make hardware then?
Because they're just putting it out there, I guess, and I hate to say this, and I know I'm going to get a lot of fucking flack for saying this, though. They're doing it because they can. They're doing it for an option. There's a lot of people out there that will never touch or ever grace a PC a day in their fucking life.
Well, let me chime in and say real quick. Microsoft has a never-ending wallet, bro. So they can do whatever the fuck they want, to be honest with you.
Well, that too, yeah. But I'm saying, like, you got to remember, like, just because their game is also on PC does not mean that it makes the console irrelevant. To the majority of us, yes, it does. But there's a lot of people out there that are never going to never buy a PC. They don't care about that. They don't give a fuck about that platform. They're gonna go with something that they feel that they just feel more comfortable with the controller in their hand and do that shit. And yes, I know that's an excuse. I understand that, and I'm agreeing with you on that because you could easily hook up a goddamn controller to a PC and call it a merry fucking day. But it just, I don't know. People really are really fond of that ecosystem. Me personally, I can give two shits because I don't really fucking play with anybody on my Xbox, and there's a reason for that. But despite all that, though, I think freaking, yeah, I mean, but now I've been seeing a lot of people posting, like on threads, on NeoGAF Reset Era. I've been seeing people posting on Reddit about it, that they're going into next gen with the Scarlet because of fucking Game Pass. And that scares me to fucking death.
But
I like Game Pass, I support it, but I'm using it the way that it should be actually fucking used, and that's just the way that I've always viewed things.
Yo, Fatal, this is to round out Thor and Fatal. Did y'all see the monthly sales of the Xbox? Do y'all see the monthly sales of these?
Yeah,
these console sales?
they're garbage. They've always been garbage. They've been like that for like the last.
Nobody sees the monthly sales of the hardware.
So let's get this straight. The sales of the Xbox, right, is going down. I seen below 50,000 a month.
It's been like that for a while.
A month. Yeah, and I'm seeing, so the software sales is way below as well. So what the hell? Why continue to
you know what?
Produce?
They still make
produce hardware.
billions in revenue. That's why.
Hey,
They also use the hardware. Look, the console is important because streaming is years and years away, and the streaming solution that they use actually uses Xbox hardware. So if you're going to stream, you need hardware, and you also need a reason to sell the hardware. So that's why the console exists. The people who buy the console are high value users. They spend a lot of money, and you need to have those users in your ecosystem. And if there's a demand for a product, they'll make the product. People want Scarlet. Now, people may not want Scarlet to the degree they want PlayStation 5, just like there's more people that want Coke than want Pepsi. But Pepsi still produces Pepsi, even though they sell less than Coke.
Right. Brian, do you have an idea as to how big the budget is for the Xbox division?
Nobody knows. I mean,
right, because since they're Microsoft next gen, why don't you just undercut the PS5 price? That'd be the easy way to get a nice head start, if not take the lead of the market, or just undercut them. If their shit's gonna be 500, just put your Xbox at 300.
Yeah,
you're Microsoft. You can take the loss.
Yeah, you could take that loss.
Yeah, but I don't think it's selling at a loss.
But wouldn't all the software and all stuff make that up and then some, plus the market share?
Is somebody watching TV in the background?
That's probably Eddie.
Yeah, somebody cut their TV off.
Hey, come on, man. I need help with that, buddy.
It's a weekly Eddie TV program.
Come on, Eddie. I need help with
that. Always Eddie.
I need help with that. That's copyrighted.
Stop watching Thundercats, Eddie.
Yeah, we can't. If you go get in here, you gotta mute yourself. You gotta mute yourself when you watching TV.
What you were saying, Rand? Right, what you were saying?
You could make an argument of selling a system at a launch and trying to get people hooked and paying.
Just see how it does the first year, and if it doesn't improve, then yeah, you can raise the price up, do whatever. But just like experiment. Like, what other choices they have at this point if they're still going to be in the console business? That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I don't.
You also have to look at the beginning of this gen. PlayStation did the exact same thing. Xbox. Xbox's price came out first during that E3 of 2013. PlayStation came out 2 days later. It was like, oh hey, we're going to charge $400 instead of $500.
Yeah,
but they bundled in the Kinect, which threw it over the top. I think pretty much right.
Yeah, but all I'm gonna say, I don't believe Microsoft's in the position to wait for Sony to announce their prices. Sony is.
They should use their advantages as Microsoft, and that's having a shitload of money. Why wouldn't you use that
exactly.
advantage?
No, that's what I'm saying. They can definitely do what you're saying, but I don't believe it's wise for them to wait for Sony to release the price. Sony's not gonna go first in releasing the price. They'll show off technology and what the system can do before Microsoft, which they did with the PS4. But don't expect them to come out first and say this is what the price is. Do not expect them to do that because they're in a position not.
They do.
They're in a position of not.
Xbox 250. Wouldn't that shit just overrun everything?
I mean, to be honest, it's going to happen anyway because
$250, $300. Just
do. Exactly. That's great, but I'm just saying Microsoft's conference is always before Sony's conference at E3. They've been doing.
They don't have to wait. I'm just saying, announce your Xbox at $300. Like Sony's
not
going to put their shit at $300.
You don't have to wait to try to figure out what Sony's price is.
$350.
Just come out at. You know what? Be honest. Just come out with 400, bro. Just do 400. PlayStation might be at 500. Do 400. You can get some competition.
Jay,
out
let
of
me
that.
ask Rand a question right quick. Hey, Rand, how did you see this past E3? Were you disappointed in this past E3?
I thought this past E3 sucks.
Who's
Man.
in the area?
Hey, that's coming from a diehard Xbox fan.
It might be,
Man, that's crazy.
J Love. Might be J
That
Love.
shit was trash.
Hey, you know what? That's
like
the
it.
truth, man. That's the truth.
Man,
Hey, that's why. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that, like, in defense of Fatal and with Rand, reason they would they would continue to make a console is mainly for the casual people who don't own a PC or don't want a game on a PC. A casual person, if their kid comes up to them and say, "Hey, mommy, daddy, I want this, this, and this," you think they're gonna spend $1,500 on a PC that can run it, or get the system for $400 that can run it?
Okay, hold on. We got a super chat. Let me read this off. People always come up with made up scenarios where Xbox can compete with Sony or be successful. How about accept that Microsoft failed in gaming and let Xbox in? Look, let me put it this way. Have I had that thought? Yes. Then I also thought about what Sam said. Microsoft has so much money. Even if they were doing pretty bad this gen, they're not gonna throw away what they're doing with Xbox. They are doing.
Made $10 billion in revenue.
Yeah,
Dude. They're not going anywhere.
Revenue. They're not. They're not.
I don't think they failed. I just think that they had stumbled.
Yeah, they had stumbled. PlayStation
they
had a hard year.
That's it.
Yeah, PlayStation
This
stumbled
shit was
last
a bad
gen.
gen for them.
Yeah.
Every system
It was a bad gen for them. They didn't fail.
Snowbuddy. You remember when the Wii U was going through its doom and gloom glory, right? Oh, Nintendo needs to get out of
Thank
the
you,
industry
Andrew
now.
Wilkins, for that
blah,
super
blah,
chat.
blah.
Thank you.
This is the same ship, except now it's just towards Xbox, dude. It is what it is.
And when the PS3 was not doing so great in the beginning,
Doom and gloom, exactly.
That was a false narrative, though.
Yeah, that was look, that bullshit y'all did last gen. That was fucked up, bro. Like that fucking going bankrupt. I used to hear that shit every NPD every year, and I was like, come on, bro. How does a company come back when it didn't really come back financially last gen? Okay, let's be honest. They didn't really. They did good, but they didn't make all their money back, bro. They was still fucking bleeding. They should have went bankrupt when people kept putting out that narrative, but they never did because they